Welcome to the Greater Than Business podcast, where it's all about creating an amazingly successful business without sacrificing your quality of life, because life should be greater than business. And now, here is your host, Courtney Bedore.
This is episode 3 of the Greater Than Business podcast, and I am so happy that you are here today because I am going to be talking about the whole reason that I started this podcast. So, if you haven't already noticed, the name of the podcast is Greater Than Business. So, the way how this idea for the podcast came to me was because I always feel like you needed to value your life more than you valued your business. Even though your business is your primary source of income and pride, and it's basically your baby, you still need to remember that without having you, your baby can't survive. Now, your business baby, not your real baby, but just bear with me for this analogy. So, the biggest thing that I started seeing with business owners is that they would neglect themselves so much to put their business ahead. However, they're not really putting their business ahead or getting ahead in anything. All they're doing is just slowly killing themselves. Not to be that dramatic, like they're not dying, but they're not experiencing that level of joy. So there was a time, I want to say back at least about 6 months ago when I started toying with the idea of starting this podcast. Marie Kondo's big show came out on Netflix, and it was kind of an inside joke amongst me and a few of my clients that I was Marie Kondoing my business, because if an action didn't bring me joy or a client wasn't bringing me the amount of joy that I was looking for, then I was getting rid of them. And it was kind of an ongoing joke, but it ended up being a very serious thing where if it wasn't serving me or serving my business, then I tossed it to the side. And I found new ways to build my business or stronger relationships that I could build, or prioritizing my business, my income stream. Also, diversifying my income stream is another one. So I basically came to the realization that in order for you to have a successful business, you have to value your life as well. So that is how we got to the point of life is greater than business, but there's other things that are greater than business as well. So family is greater than business. Vacations are greater than business. Whatever it is that you want to prioritize in your life, the whole reason why you created your business, it's super important that you don't forget why you created your business. And the fact that you didn't create your business because you wanted to grow a huge business. You grew your business because you wanted to grow a huge business in order to fill in the blank. And I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there that are struggling with that concept, where they have wanted to grow this massively successful business or agency, servicing, coaching, consulting, all of that other that stuff. But they forget that the reason why they started it was so that they could work from home, or so that they could spend more time with their children, or they could go on vacation, so they could be financially prepared for whatever life throws at them, so that they could build up a nest egg, pay off debt, save enough money to go back to school, you name it. Like, there's so many different reasons, but people forget their why. And I know that writing out your whys is such a horrible, just a horrible task to do. But there is a reason why you started the business. And if you lose sight of that, then your business is going to become a 2-year-old on a temper tantrum in a candy store. If you can't tell already, I am a mother of 2 children, and I am trying to grow my business with my 2 children in mind, as well as my husband, Jeff. And that's where a lot of my analogies are going to come from. So you're going to get a lot of children-based things. So I'm sorry if you don't have children and you don't understand what it's like if they have a meltdown in a candy store on a sugar high on a Saturday afternoon when they're way too tired. It's a thing that happens in parenthood, and it's monstrous. But anyways, back on track here. The reason that you started your business was likely to create this wonderful, happy way that you could create income while being able to still live your life. But the problem is that then you get stuck in this shiny object syndrome of, well, XYZ is making $7,000 a week. How come I'm not? And this other person, ABC, is over there and she's making $3,000 a day. How's she doing that? I need to make more. And you feel like you need to make more, produce more, do more in order to be relevant. And that is not what your business should be about. You don't need to keep up with whoever is out there doing their own thing. You just need to focus on you. Do your own thing. Focus on what your values are and make sure that your values align with your business. So this was a hard step that I needed to learn as a service-based business provider. My whole business is based on servicing clients' businesses, or rather it was. And the reason why I found that I hit burnout is I didn't set ideal boundaries with my clients. And when I didn't set ideal boundaries that were ideal for me, not for my clients, but for me, that is when everything spiraled out of control. So I was working with 8 different entrepreneurs at one point, and all of them were spread across the globe. The problem was I set my boundaries as I was going to work from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Those were my work hours because that was when my children are at school. And it gave me a couple hours in the morning. They actually leave at 7:30, but it gave me a couple hours in the morning to kind of do my own thing. And then at 3 o'clock, they get home, and then computer was supposed to shut. I was supposed to leave my office, lock the door, go upstairs and be present. But that never happened because I got the greedy bug inside of me where I wanted to help more clients. I felt like I needed to be helping everybody to better their business in order for my business to be successful. And what I found from that was I wasn't successful because I was dying. I was so busy and so scattered. I was on like the verge of tears every single day. Most days I was crying. It was exhausting. And my business hours of 9 to 3 were non-existent because I had clients all over the world. So they would log on at 8 p.m. my time or at 5 a.m. my time, and I was supposed to be on and ready and anxious to do the work. But I wasn't sleeping. I was barely eating. I was this big ball of stress, and no matter what I could do, I couldn't escape the launch cycle. So because all of my clients were in a launch cycle, they were constantly obviously launching. So every quarter, each one of my clients would launch. However, the problem is that some of them would launch at the same time. Others would launch back to back. So I was constantly launching. So if you follow any other main big entrepreneurs that run launch cycles, they'll usually launch and then take like a month off afterwards to like decompress, self-care, look after themselves, go on vacation, celebrate, something along those lines. But for me, I was never able to do that. I would literally celebrate with one client and then start launching with client number 2 as client number 3 was heading into pre-launch. Client number 4 was about a week away from launch, and it was just like constant launch. I was never able to have that downtime. I was never able to go on vacation. I wasn't even able to have surgery without taking time off. I tried to take time off, and then I started having clients mention replacing me. So of course, scarcity mindset kicks in, and I kept thinking, oh no, I need to keep my clients happy. I can't take any time off or else they're just going to replace me. And that's not cool because I need this income, because in my mind, I needed the income to be successful. And what I didn't realize was that I am more successful when I valued my time over my income. So I want you guys to take something away from this episode. Don't be like me. If you are in a service-based business, I want you to start automating. I want you to start delegating. I want you to set boundaries. I want you to stick to those boundaries. I want you to Marie Kondo your business. I want you to find things that only spark joy and focus on those things, and look to automate or delegate any of those other tasks in your business that just aren't pushing you forward. I want you to have the courage to step away from clients that are toxic for your life. And I want you to know that everything is going to be okay if you do that. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about my previous clients. It wasn't their fault that I was in this situation. It was totally my fault. It was poor planning on my part, mismanagement of my time, and my inability to remember my why I started my business, what my ideal clients were supposed to be, and what my ideal workday looked like. So if you're kind of struggling in this situation, which I know the majority of you listening are, I want you to make sure that you do revisit your ideal client. Make sure that the people that you are serving are your ideal clients. And if not, I want you to go to those clients and explain to them what changes you're looking to make in your business and how it's going to affect them. And if they let you go, it's okay. It's perfectly fine, because you will find another client just a little bit down the road, and they will be more aligned with your values. And it always works out best in the end. Always. Trust me, I have been there, done that. Every single time I've had to release a client, or I've been released because just values didn't line up and a whole bunch of other reasons. But there's always someone else better just around the corner. So have faith, have courage, do whatever you need to do, but sit down, make sure that everyone you're working with is ideal for your business. Make sure that you have those boundaries set in place. Make sure that people are respecting your boundaries, and make sure that you start valuing your why over your business. So for me, my why was I wanted to be home with my 2 kids. I wanted to have the ability to leave at any moment and go pick up my kids from school if I needed to. I could work from anywhere. So if we were heading out of town to a sports tournament, then I would be able to basically take my computer with me. I'd still be able to work when it was convenient for me, but also I didn't have to be at home or at an office or at my desk. I could literally, I've done this before, opened up my computer at an arena, at a baseball diamond field, whatever you want to call it. And I've been able to get a quick task done, close my laptop, be present for the game, open my laptop after the game's over, check in, make sure everything's fine, close it again, go congratulate my son, and basically do whatever I needed to do at the moment for my kids. That has become my new reality. And it's amazing to be able to have that ability now to shut down when I need to. And if there are days where I feel like working 14 hours, I can do that because I have the mental capacity to be able to do it now. Whereas before, every single day I was working 14 hours. And it would always seem like one client would push the boundaries and say, I know it's after hours, but can you just do this one thing? And then they would think, oh, I haven't bothered her after hours in a month. But what they don't realize is that all of my other clients were doing their 1 or 2 extra bothers after hours every day. And then it turned into every single day I was working 14 hours. And that's not cool. That's definitely not something that I wanted to carry with me as I went through building my business. So when I tore my business down and rebuilt it back up, there was key things that I had to keep in mind. And those are the main points I want you to take away. So if it's not bringing you joy, get rid of it nicely, of course. If you don't have boundaries, make them. If you're not sticking to your boundaries, stick to them. If you are thinking about diversifying your income streams and bringing in some passive income, do it. Do it now while you have the time. If you haven't looked into automating your business, now is the time to do it, because for 1 week of setting up automation, you can then get rid of those tasks off your plate for the rest of your business life. Delegation is another thing. You have to make sure that when you delegate something to someone, that you're giving them all of the resources that that person needs to be able to do the job the exact same if you were doing it yourself. So delegation takes a little bit more time. I will definitely have podcast episodes specifically on delegation and automation. Those are coming up in a little bit, but this episode, I just wanted to explain to you how and why you need to value your life, your time, your everything over your business, and that you can't allow your business to become a monster that controls you, which is what can easily happen, and you don't even realize that it's happening. So if you're sitting there listening to this podcast, nodding your head, I want you to know that you're not alone. There is easy steps that you can take, and we will be diving into those shortly. So keep listening. What I want you to do is go and subscribe to the podcast. Make sure that you don't miss an episode. If you haven't already, I want you to go listen to episodes 1 and 2, where I talk about setting up a marketing funnel and where I give you the ability to download the marketing funnel guide. And if you haven't yet put automation and an extra income stream into your business, that is what you want to do first. So that is it for today. That is my advice to you, is sit back, think about why you started your business, think about who you're working with in your business and who you're looking to attract. Make sure that you have clear boundaries that work for you. Make sure that you are only working with clients and customers that are bringing you joy into your business. And make sure that you have set up yourself so that you can automate and delegate various aspects of your business so that you can get more time. And then listen to the next episode, where I am going to start talking about one of my favorite books and all of the takeaways that I got from it, and why it inspired me to fly down to Tampa for a 2-day event in order to restructure the entirety of my business. So stay tuned for that. It will be coming out shortly, and I hope to see you guys next week. Remember that the podcasts are released on Tuesday morning. So every Tuesday morning, without a doubt, you will have a brand new podcast from the Greater Than Business podcast. In the meantime, you can go to greaterthanbusiness.com, download all the episodes, get the show notes, and you can get the show notes for this episode at greaterthanbusiness.com/003. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode, and I can't wait to share more with you next week. Until then, have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Greater Than Business podcast at www.greaterthanbusiness.com.